welcome to the podcast of the European Young Chemists Network, EYCN. My name is Mark Carrada, and welcome to our new series. In this series, we interview the winners of the prestigious European Young Chemist Award 2020 to discuss with them their research and also ask them for advice for other young chemists. Today, we are talking about how important chemicals for industrial processes can be synthesized in a more sustainable way without relying on petrochemical resources. For this, our Romanian delegate Robert Țincu interviewed the silver medal winner at the PhD level, Dr. Emilia Paone. Dr. Paone is a postdoc researcher at the Department of Industrial Engineering at the University of Florence. In 2015, she obtained her master's degree in chemistry at the University of Messina and then moved to the Università Mediterranea di Reggio Calabria in order to start a PhD course in Science and Technology, Materials, Energy and Complex Systems for Distributed Computing and Networks, working in the Chemistry Research Group. She obtained her PhD in April 2019. Her work was honored with 2 awards and additionally the Silver Medal Award of the European Young Chemists Award. Her research activities lie in the field of heterogeneous catalysis with emphasis on the valorization of biomass-derived molecules through the catalytic CO bond breaking promoted by heterogeneous palladium-based catalysts. In particular, her research project is focused in the catalytic transfer hydrogenolysis of lignin for the sustainable production of aromatic feedstocks. Since 2019, she is also a board member of the Italian Young Chemists Network, representing the Division of Industrial Chemistry. There, Dr. Paone would like to involve young students and early-stage researchers in the dissemination of industrial chemical culture and in the beauty of chemistry.
Hello, Emilia, and hello to our listeners.
Hi, Robert. I'm very happy and excited to have this nice conversation with you today, and I'm ready for all your curiosity and question.
For those who listen, Emilia Paone is a winner of the European Young Chemist Award. And Emilia, I would start with an introduction question. Can you tell us what motivated you to go into chemistry and more specifically into lignin-first-based biorefinery?
Thank you for this great and motivating question. So, when I finished high school, I decided to study chemistry because I was very fascinated by the periodic table that contains within it all the beauty of nature. And the more I studied chemistry, the more I understood that chemistry is everywhere. Right now, I believe that green chemistry and sustainable catalytic processes are going to have a deep impact in our near future, in which I think that we will use waste as starting feedstock. In fact, in my personal opinion, waste can be a powerful resource, and in this context, chemistry and surely catalysis will play a crucial role. And the idea to work with waste was born when I started my PhD and my supervisor proposing me to work on the catalytic valorization of lignocellulosic biomasses, in particular with the lignin fraction. Seriously, I think mine is a love story with lignin. They began with my PhD, and today I surely can affirm that is a true love that growing day by day.
Very interesting subject. Thank you for your answer. Can you tell us now why should the chemical industry reorient to lignin-based feedstock instead of using petrochemical resources?
Yes, the increasing interest in producing fuel and chemicals from biomasses is mainly derived from both climate change issue and the rapid growth of the worldwide energy demand. And these 2 key factors, surely together with the gradual depletion of oil and gas resources, push the scientific community to investigate new sustainable, cost-efficient, renewable alternative to fossil fuels. And biomass has surely the big advantage to be available all over the world, representing a strategic point not only to achieve a safe energy supply, but also to promote local economies. And the valorization of renewable materials represent an effective way to limit excessive carbon dioxide release. And however, many potential building blocks and fine chemistry intermediates can be produced by biomass conversion. In particular, today, the worldwide attention is focusing on the use of lignocellulosic biomass of second and third generation, exclusively derived from waste and residues. Indeed, the lignocellulosic biomass is readily available from various waste streams, including agriculture, forestry and paper industry, and is produced in large amount worldwide.
I would ask you now, what are the principal steps in obtaining platform chemicals from lignin? I imagine there are some steps that you have to follow in order to transform the lignocellulosic biomass into useful chemical or to another chemical.
So, lignocellulosic present a very complex chemical structure characterized by three major constituents present in different percentage: cellulose, the major component, hemicellulose and lignin, that allow different innovative platform molecules to be obtained. And in the course of the year, several biorefining technologies have been proposed, many of which require physicochemical pretreatment to allow the only valorization of cellulose and hemicellulose component of biomass into fuels and chemicals, relegating lignin to the role of ugly duckling. In fact, the native structure of lignin during this process was irreparably altered, thus strongly limiting its chemical upgrading into value-added chemicals. And however, the native phenolic constituent of lignin are of particular interest for a lignocellulosic biorefinery aimed to the sustainable production of green aromatic compound. And for this reason, one of the best strategies to produce chemicals from lignin is the so-called lignin first approach, in which lignin preservation is considered of first importance. In few words, the lignin first approach is an heterogeneous catalyst dependent process that permit a complete and a full valorization of lignocellulosic biomasses.
This sounds like a lot, like a very complex process. What would be the main challenges that you can encounter in this process?
This is a great question, Robert. So, the use of lignin first approach in the valorization of lignocellulosic biomass breaks a new ground for a green and sustainable biorefinery. By now we have all the necessary background to push the production of aromatics from native lignocellulose under classic batch condition, and however many scientific and technological challenges are ahead of us. With respect to the adopt catalyst, two are for me surely the main challenges: the use of non-noble metals and the recovery of spent catalysts from reaction media at the end of the reaction. In this context, and in my opinion, the research should be driven toward the use of magnetically recoverable system based, for example, on cheap and widely available nickel or iron.
Thank you for this answer. In the present, what is the current state of the art in this field, and what's your research bringing new?
As already said, lignin is a very complex polymer, but I like complicated things and taking it simple. In fact, my PhD project was focused on the basic catalysis beyond lignin first biorefinery, with the aim to investigate the CO bond breaking of three model molecules of lignin, three aromatic ethers such as benzene phenyl ether, phenylphenyl ether and diphenyl ether that mimic the typical lignin linkage. So when I started my PhD, several important contributions were present in literature on the heterogenolysis of DP, PP and BP only under classic hydrogenolytic condition that imply the use of molecular hydrogen, so with a series of problems related to its use because it is highly explosive. So at the beginning of my love story with lignin, I decided to investigate the heterogenolysis of them by applying a new safe strategy, the catalytic transfer heterogenolysis reaction, in which the required hydrogen come from hydrogen donor molecules, H donor molecules, used as a reaction solvent and used as such or in mixture with water, typical lignin first condition. And reaction were performed in presence of commercially ruthenium on carbon palladium carbon catalyst, as well as bimetallic palladium basic catalyst on prepared.
What can I say? Very interesting love story between you and your research. Now, I would ask you something on a different note. Like, we know that for something to be implemented on a larger scale, it has to be easy to implement and also profitable from an economic point of view. Do you think that this way of lignin processing is feasible to be implemented on a larger scale?
So, first of all, I would like to stress that for a large-scale application of the lignin-first approach, it is very important to keep in mind that the raw lignocellulosic materials has a terrible effect on the catalytic approach. To this regard, several factors affect the lignocellulose. And on the other hand, it is worth to underline that most of the studies have been investigated in stirred autoclave vessel, the typical batch reactors, that are simple to operate. In fact, reagent, solvent, H donor source and catalyst are sealed and heated for a fixed time, but they are generally used commercially to produce low volume with high value chemicals. Thus, a lot of research need to be carried out towards continuous reactors that are normally installed when large amount of chemicals are being produced. So, for a real application of biomasses, it is important to transfer all the knowledge acquired in batch system to continuous reactor that can operate for several months without a shutdown.
Okay, thank you for your answer, and I hope that this field will develop more in the future because, as you already said, waste management and waste and the circular economy, it's a very important topic that should catch our attention in the future. Now, I would like to ask you some questions about your experience. Can you tell us what is your advice you would give to the young chemist in general?
Oh wow! To this regard, I have three important advice. First of all, surely be ambitious. Try to do innovative chemistry and don't be afraid to be contaminated with other research field. You can take advantage by making connection between different topics or entirely different field of science. The second advice is don't be afraid to explore new ideas. Demonstrate to yourself that you can be creative and don't be worried if you are not getting result. You will find that you can learn a lot also from negative experience. And third advice that is probably is the most important, have fun. Chemistry research is beautiful and you have to take full advantage of it.
I have to agree with you with these advices. Having fun is very important, and also I think that from the negative results we learn the most. What are your further goals in your career?
This is a very difficult question, Robert. So, surely in the next few years, I would like to become an independent researcher and I would like to apply to some national and European fund. And I hope to have a more stable position and situation. I surely hope to start an independent research group, and why not? I hope to work again with my lovely lignin, proposing new, fascinating and encouraging ideas for the valorization of lignocellulosic waste and residues.
I wish you all the luck with this, and I'm sure that you will be successful. Next question, it's about the students that are not so sure about the field that they should specialize in, and what would be your advice for them, And also, what would be your advice for the students that already know their field of study?
Listen and follow your heart, not to those fashion alchemical trend of the moment. I suggest to speak 100% honestly and take advice from research and professor you know. They surely can help you learn more about the cutting-edge research in the field of studies you may be interested in order to take a right decision for your specialization, and if you have already decided, they can give you the great opportunity to learn more. So, personally, I feel extremely lucky to have had the mentors I had during my career. Starting from my bachelor degree up to my PhD program, I had the opportunity to learn and evolve, brought from a personal scientific aspect, thanks to my incredible mentors.
Okay, one last question, because I have to admit I just started my PhD, and what would be the advice for your advice for the PhD students that are just starting their PhD, and also for those that are finishing their thesis right now?
At the beginning of your PhD, you need to read a lot of papers related to your project. The main goal is that you get a clear idea of the state of the art that is what has been already done. Then write down everything you do. By writing often, you will accumulate content that you can reuse when you need to write abstract and papers, and most important, your PhD thesis. Another important advice is present your research. Presenting can be scary, but it gets easier as you practice, and it's a fantastic way to network and get feedback at the same time. So the best advice is socialize with your lab group and other students. It's a great way to get advice and help improve your research and make friends. For example, here in Italy we have the Società Chimica Italiana with its fantastic young group of giovani, which represent a very important point of reference for all young Italian chemists.
Thank you for your advices. I will try to keep them in my mind and to respect them. Okay, thank you very much, Emilia, for these great answers and for being with me.
Thank you again, Robert, for your nice interview. I'm very happy, and it was for me a very fantastic experience.
Hello everyone, it's Mark here again. This was the last episode of our new series. We hope you checked out all of them and enjoyed this new format. Please, as always, leave your feedback by rating our podcast, and if you have any questions or further remarks, you can also send us an email at podcast@eycn.eu. See you soon.